Hey everybody, welcome to NoDQ&A video right here on youtube.com/NoDQCW and of course NoDQ.com. Had a few busy days in wrestling. We had TNA Slammiversary on Sunday night. We had Monday Night Raw, 3-hour show, built around the return of Mr. McMahon. Now I hate to say this because I'm not a big sports guy, but I was actually more interested in the LA Kings game than Monday Night Raw. And I never thought I would ever say that. But of course, the LA Kings game, a big deal here in LA. And I'd like to congratulate them on winning the Stanley Cup. And I would like to congratulate good old JM now that his team has finally won the big one. But enough about hockey. We're here to talk about wrestling. So let's get right down to your questions. Hey Aaron, what if WWE is planning on making Ryback do similar things as Goldberg and potentially making them collide at WrestleMania, since you've stated it's WWE, you never know what's going to happen next? WWE is pushing Ryback as their own creation, and they do not want the comparisons between Ryback and Goldberg. Yes, they're trying to create a new character based off of how Goldberg was pushed. They're having Ryback come out there and destroy guys and just be a monster and win these quick squash matches. But they do not want the Goldberg chance. They don't want people thinking of Ryback as a Goldberg knockoff. So for them to do that match, Ryback versus Goldberg, it would draw too much attention to the fact that Ryback is being modeled after Goldberg. So I don't see it happening. If Goldberg ever was to return to WWE, they just wouldn't do that match. But speaking of Goldberg, I'll get to that more in this next question. Do you think Goldberg will return to wrestling, even if not for WWE? I've mentioned this before about Goldberg and WWE. He had his run, his one-year run in 2003 and early 2004, and it just didn't work out for both sides. I mean, neither side was happy. And Goldberg left, and so much time has passed now that it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to try to bring back a nostalgic character and have him be a fresh face in 2012. I mean, it's just not going to happen now. Maybe there's always a possibility he could show up for one appearance or something like that, but I just don't think WWE is interested in bringing him back. And as far as TNA goes, Goldberg has said it himself that he would never work for Vince Russo again, so now that Russo's gone from TNA, I guess that means there is a possibility of him going back or joining TNA. But I still think it's unlikely because I don't think TNA would be willing to pay him the amount of money that he wants. And the thing is about Goldberg is that if he comes into TNA, they need to push him like Goldberg. They need to push him as a monster. And, you know, how many guys are going to want to do the job for Goldberg? So there's a lot of things working against Goldberg coming back in any capacity, and I just don't see TNA being able to afford him at this point. I mean, they're trying to cut back. I mean, they were going crazy for a few years with hiring a lot of former WWE talent, you know, RVD, Jeff Hardy, Mr. Anderson, paying out these big contracts to those guys, and I just don't think they'll be able to pay what Goldberg wants. So it could happen. Goldberg could return, but I think it's unlikely in any case. What did you think of Vader's return? And would you agree with the crowd that he still got it? I loved Vader's return. I was very happy to see him, and he seemed to be in good shape for a guy who is pushing 60. I mean, he's getting up there, and he went out there and he could still do a basic Vader match. And the crowd was really kind to him. I mean, I remember when he returned in 2005. I was actually there. It was Raw at the Arrowhead Pond. And he was really out of shape for that night. And he got out of the ring and he actually fell on his ass. And, I mean, he was really embarrassed about that. And the crowd didn't even react that much to him. I mean, they gave him almost no receptions. I mean, this was a good crowd. They were really into him, so it was a big positive. And I hope we get to see more old characters from the past return, like at the 1000th Raw. That's what I would like to see. More guys like Vader come back. Maybe Sid or, you know, some of the old characters upper mid-card main event characters from the 1990s. See them at the 1000th Raw. So if this is a sign of things to come, then I'm actually looking forward to the 1000th Raw. What are your thoughts on Dolph Ziggler being in the World Heavyweight Championship match at No Way Out? Well, basically, it's just a way to get him in a pay-per-view match and to have a World Heavyweight title match, because Alberto Del Rio's out of action with a concussion, so they needed to fill that spot up, and Dolph Ziggler didn't have a match because he was originally scheduled to face Randy Orton, and Randy Orton got suspended. So just a matter of circumstances that put this match together. As far as Ziggler winning the title, I think it's unlikely. I think Sheamus is the long-term plan for now, but you never know. WWE might want to try to pull a shocker on everybody, and I mean, one reason why I would think there's at least a possibility Ziggler could win is that WWE is really needing to push some new talent right now, especially with all the suspensions and injuries. They really need to get somebody new into the mix. So, I mean, you never know. You never know. Hey, Aaron, do you think Jeff Jarrett not being the first inductee into the Hall of Fame is a work to get him to rival with Sting and have it all ended Bound for Glory? I believe Sting and Jarrett will be inducted at the same time. I'm not really sure what's going on between Jeff Jarrett and TNA right now. I mean, I don't know. One would think that if Jarrett and TNA were on good terms, then we would have seen Jeff Jarrett at the 10-year anniversary show for TNA. I mean, TNA Slammiversary, this was a big, big event for TNA, one of their biggest shows ever, and Jeff Jarrett was nowhere to be seen. To me, that's telling. That tells me that there's something going on between Jeff Jarrett and TNA right now. And there's always the possibility that they could turn it into a work if it's not a work already. I mean, I don't think it's a work right now, but they could always play off the fact that Jeff Jarrett wasn't there and have him come back and try to get revenge on the company and try to take out Sting and do some sort of match with them. So, I mean, it's always a possibility that something like that could happen. But, you know, to be honest, I'm not really crazy about seeing Jeff Jarrett versus Sting for the 1000th time, to be honest with you. Do you think TNA dropped the ball with Christian at Slammiversary? Having no live feed after he announced the #1 moment and just cutting straight to the tag team match. I think TNA got as much out of Christian as they were going to get. Let's face it. Christian is under contract to WWE. WWE is not going to allow Christian to go out there and wrestle and risk getting hurt. That's not going to happen. So, TNA, they had him go out there and they had him, cut that brief promo. And the thing is, too, is Christian was really careful about his choice of words. He didn't want to say anything that would upset WWE. He was kind of put into a bad situation here, going into TNA, and he has to cut this really safe promo to make sure that he doesn't upset the company he's working for. So, I mean, with Christian, the fact is he was a major star in TNA for several years, and him coming back at the 10-year anniversary show, it made the show even all that more special. Now, could they have done more with it? Perhaps. Perhaps they could have announced him on television, or perhaps WWE wasn't going to allow that, and that's why Dixie only did the Twitter plug for Christian. I mean, who knows? But all things considered, I think they got a decent deal out of this whole situation, and as good of a deal as they were going to get. All right, that'll wrap it up for this edition of No DQ&A video. Thanks as always for watching. Make sure you subscribe, youtube.com/NoDQCW, and stay tuned to NoDQ.com. We'll be having live coverage of WWE No Way Out this Sunday, live on pay-per-view. NoDQ.com is the place to be for all the latest wrestling news and rumors. And make sure you stay tuned to the YouTube channel. We're getting close to the end here in the top 25 WWE superstars of all time. Make sure you check out all those videos. With that being said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time for No DQ&A video on NoDQ.com.